Okay, hopefully this works because about 2 weeks ago my laptop crashed and I've been trying to get everything sorted and the sound was out, so fingers crossed. I found this about 2, 3 weeks ago that I wanted to talk about it. I don't agree with everything that he says, but he does make points which coincide with mine and I found them quite interesting. He's going to use a word and I want to clarify because I know that people have tantrums over certain words. These entities have been called the Watchers, Los Vigilantes, Nephilim, the Elohim, the Anunnaki, Igigi, the Archons, Neteru, Predators, the Fallen Angels. The Secret Anunnaki Atuwa, written 12th June 2005. It is now time to reveal this information. For a long, long time, the Earth has been regarded as insignificant in the scheme of things. Many see it as a place of schooling for the soul, which is another alien deception. The Vulturites and the Reptilians were once like family, but the family began bickering, and they broke off to form their own empires a long, long time ago. These are the two most formidable Anunnaki races in the cosmos, and both are vying for supremacy over the other. All other alien groups are basically pawns, caught in the middle of the reptilian/Vulturite struggle for power. Before this schism occurred, the reptilian Anunnaki elite would restart time whenever things got too far out of control. The place where this took place was on their home planet Nibiru, which I don't really follow, which orbited a star called Zaos. They relocated the time restarting device called Atuwa to a very remote planet that had virtually no technology. That remote planet was Earth. Before the Anunnaki elite selected Earth for the Atuwa, the planet was an unimportant, disposable celestial body that was used as a dumping ground for alien convicts, space garbage, and other trash. The ruling elite on Earth have been very harsh on any philosophies, thoughts, ideals, religions, and other practices that originate from places now known as Iran, Iraq, and Afghanistan. This includes the persecution and distortion of Mithraism, Zoroastrianism, Manichaeism, etc. This by no means indicates that all philosophical and religious thoughts that originate from these areas are of the true light. The main reason that things from these areas are harshly resisted by the ruling elite is because of something else they do not want anyone to focus upon. The Garden of Eden is not an unfounded myth. It was created by the Anunnaki elite as a posh prison to house certain high-ranking Anunnaki prisoners. Being a high-security area, it was the perfect place to relocate the Atuwa. When they invaded Iraq in 2003, the Vulturites were after the lost word of the Freemasons, the Atuwa, and the power point from where the Atuwa could be activated. They were not looking for weapons of mass destruction at all. Throughout history, three major religions appear to be in conflict and competition for Palestine. These are Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. These appear to be at odds at various times in history, and yet at other times they appear to complement one another. All major religious movements are distractions that are sponsored by the ruling elite to serve their purposes. In reality, people are programmed to act as they do. Although Judaism, Christianity, Islam appear to be in conflict, they are not. They, like all other major religions, are serving a very specific purpose for the ruling elite. The perceived unending conflicts are designed to confuse and segregate people so that they will always be strife, conflict, distrust, and war. The ruling elite know that it is imperative that people perceive these religious conflicts to be real so that the diversions are not seen through. The key lies in and around the Persian Gulf. When discussing this key, it is unavoidable to bring in the alien wars. What I'm about to discuss is for people who have open minds. It's not for the skeptics and for those programmed by the ruling elite, as they will probably never be able to see through the programming. I repeat here that the reptilians are cunning, hedonistic, chauvinistic, powerful race of Anunnaki. They have had the upper hand for so long that they are getting very cocky in their arrogance. They think that they have everything under control just as they have in the past. They have controlled the restart of time on many occasions and always set it up so that they were on top. They have controlled the Atuwa for a long, long time. The Vulturites appear to be hot-headed, vicious, and brutal. The Vulturites are after the Atuwa. They do not mind being perceived as brutal, deceptive, and ambitious. They do not mind being hated as they are. They have a single purpose, which is to get to the Atuwa. The Vulturites are unaware that the Atuwa is non-functional at this time. There's a missing part that contains the codes to activate the Atuwa. This is not a physical thing. This is the part that I confiscated from the reptilians a long time ago after the last restart of time. Incidentally, two apertures have recently appeared near my home. One morning, one of our dogs accidentally wandered into one of the apertures and disappeared instantly. She had been curious about this spot for some time. We had to call her back until she stumbled back through the aperture from the other side, reappearing very suddenly and very dazed from the ordeal. We have seen this happen to other animals, including the horse. Needless to say, Atailek is up to something when he comes here, so this is the name of a reptilian. Many are following the Mayan calendar and mistakenly believe that the end of time is 2012. Those in the know have gone along with this date for a very important reason. It is now time to reveal that time must be restarted in 2008. The year 2012 is another misdirection by the reptilians to keep their opposition and ordinary people less focused and more complacent. It was important that the date of 2012 was believably close to the actual date of 2008. Now, people have told me in comments that they noticed things got a bit weird in 2007 or 2008, and some people say it was 2009. Somebody sent me a video not too long ago called "The Matrix Went Live in 2007." If time is not restarted in 2008, it will not be the end of time. Things will just go their own course, and the cosmos will eventually wind down into a natural death. Solomon wanted the power for himself. Solomon was the king of Israel, and the code was transmitted in three parts to King Solomon, King Hiram, and Hiram Abith. Solomon wanted the power for himself, and his ambition resulted in the failure of the Anunnaki elite's last attempt to reactivate the Atuwa. The Atuwa, the critical tool for maintaining darkness, is virtual reality, written 20th September 2005. Weather conditions around the world are destabilizing. Some of the freak storms are natural while others are staged. The natural ones have grown in intensity because the Earth is fracturing and also approaching the end of its grand cycle. What we are witnessing now is only the beginning of what is to come. Some disasters occur because of the alien wars and are caused by physical aliens. Other disasters are launched on a subtle level, sometimes even beyond the ken of the physical aliens. There are many levels in this virtual reality of illusions, and it is difficult to glimpse even one level removed from where one is located, let alone comprehend the more distant levels. There is urgency about events now. People should prepare themselves for the unexpected. It is better to be prepared than to worry about being laughed at by the ruling elite's skeptical agents who do not want people to be prepared. Preparation is not being ready to evacuate at the behest of the ruling elite. Most of those who work for the ruling elite will be discarded by their alien masters when they are no longer of any use to them. There are many on Earth who want the physical dimension to continue, even though they have now received enough information to realize that it is only a temporary existence. It is these people who are knowingly choosing evil for their temporal comforts. Others are being sucked into the charade of thinking that the physical astral is all there is. The aliens will discard those who assist them soon enough. Of course, the aliens too will no longer exist after the Atuwa fails to operate. Since the programming of darkness is so deeply entrenched in this world, it's not surprising that many will actively choose to support the evil that darkness has created and foolishly shun liberation for darkness. If the Atuwa were allowed to operate, the virtual reality of darkness would survive for yet another cycle of suffering and misery. Those who have not given over their will to darkness will rejoice to know that the Atuwa will never run again. When the reptilians fail to restart time, the Atuwa, the whole dimension, will just drag and drag on until it winds down completely. This could take years. If we follow what he's saying, and they can't restart this machine, well, then why are things looking different? I think they are trying to restart time artificially, and they are taking the soul energy of souled beings and using it to open up portals and do it in that way. Some aliens are trying desperately to flee the Earth at this time. Their efforts have caused a lot of ice to melt in Antarctica and other places, along with a host of other problems. What they do not realize is that if time is not restarted from Earth in 2008, the whole cosmos and the virtual reality will be affected too. So that's why I think we're seeing things change and other weird stuff. Please note that my postings could end abruptly. I have released enough information and energy to assist you in the upcoming turmoil. Always remember, never give your will over to darkness. Darkness can harm your body, but it cannot touch your will unless you give it over to darkness. So I'll leave the links for these in the description. If you choose to use some of this in your video, I would appreciate if you would credit the source and not take the information on as your own, because that's been happening, I've noticed recently. So credit where credit's due would be appreciated.